Joining us on the line right now is Susan Kosisky. And, boy, it's good to have you here, Susan, because everybody's talking about how bad the pollen's going to be this year. I guess we've gotten a little bit of a break, what with all the rain that sort of washes out the atmosphere, but it's coming. Yes. It's coming in a big way, isn't it?
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, we're waiting for it here. And, February up to last week, first week in April, the pollen counts have really been below half of what the daily averages should be for this year. So, you feel something's got to give, and I think Sunday was a good preview where temperatures were, I think, hovering around 77 or 80 degrees. You had abundant sunshine, and you had a wonderful, persistent spring breeze, and our count soared. They went over 1,000 grains per cubic meter.
I noticed just driving home yesterday, it seemed like, this weekend, there were no leaves on the trees, and then yesterday as I was driving home, bam! We got green everywhere.
It's like they came out within the day. And, that's what happens. It doesn't take much to incite the trees, either to start flowering or leafing, as soon as conditions are right. And Sunday, all the ingredients were there.
So, Susan Kosisky, what can I do about that? I mean, excuse me, what can our listeners do who are suffering from this? It's certainly not my own personal needs that I've got you on here for. What can we do? Because this drives me nuts every year, and I'm already feeling it way earlier than usual.
Yeah, the second week in April to the first week in May is when we really see our peak counts, and it's generally that last week in April where you're getting close to 1,000 grains per cubic meter a day of pollen.
Wow.
Best thing to do, if you're outdoors, I'd wear sunglasses. I've got some allergies myself. I like to wear sunglasses, especially on breezy days. Modify your outdoor activities. In other words, until the storm passes, you want to sort of modify those outdoor activities. Use central air. Keep those car windows up, the doors and windows in the home. A lot of folks, if you do spend a lot of time outdoors, one of the recommendations is to make sure, come in, take a shower, get the pollen off your hair and your clothes. It's a very sticky substance, and you note that when the pines and oaks come out in the area. That's when the outdoor surfaces, the cars, really get loaded with that greenish-yellow pollen dust.
Right. And isn't it also true that you should bathe your pets frequently because they do the same thing? They bring it right in from outside.
Excellent idea. And that's true. If you have a dog or a cat that stays out most of the day, they're collecting pollen.
Yeah, I tried to give my cat a bath the other day, but the hair kept sticking to my tongue. It was really...
Exactly, yeah. You'll lose some fingers,
really
I think.
That's an old Steve Martin joke.
Yeah,
I feel bad.
I know. So please excuse him. I try. I try to wave him off. Okay, so look, I've also heard one of the things you could do, or you should think about doing, is take your pillowcases and your sheets and wash them regularly, because if you lay down and you've got it on your hair, then you turn over, you're putting your nose right into the pollen.
Yeah, any of those remediation activities work well. We get calls from patients and they say, well, I'm not going outdoors, but I've got a pollen dust on my dining room table. Well, they've got their windows open and the doors open. They take the glasses out of the storm doors and put in the screens because the weather turns beautiful, but you're allowing all that dust to come in.
Right in the house.
Yeah, and anything that can help, I think, will work.
All right, so here's the other side of the equation. If you do get hay fever, then you go and you get some remedies off the shelf. I don't know, but every time I take that stuff, it just makes me feel sleepy and dopey. Now, I may be a little dopey anyway, but the sleepy part, I can't really function. I don't feel like I'm as sharp as I should be.
Yeah, I tell you, if it gets to the point where you feel medications, and a lot of times, you're trying to modify your activities and use remediation procedures, whatnot, and it's just not working, you definitely sort of want to go see an allergist and see what he suggests. With respect to some of those medications, maybe some might be better prescribed over the counter. But it's best to actually, a lot of folks get skin tested to find out exactly what it is that's causing the problem.
So what you're saying is if Brian starts to feel sleepy or dopey, he shouldn't get grumpy and he shouldn't be bashful. He should call Doc, and that will make him happy. Wow.
That's a thought.
I think
How long did you think
all of them? It just came to me.
No, I think you missed one or two, but that's pretty good.
Let's get back to this. This is very important for me, especially this allergy thing. First of all, when do we expect this to calm down? Because for me, it lasts all through summer because of cut grass and all of those things, even beyond the pollen.
Yeah, the problem with our region is we have a parade of pollen starting from late January through pretty much November. And the grasses start kicking in now. If you've got grass allergies, they'll start kicking in April, and they'll peak in May. The trees will die down in May, and then, we'll sort of have sort of a break through the summer, although the grasses continue to pollinate, and then the weeds pick up in July.
That's the ragweed.
So from tree to grass to weed season. And there's a lot of overlapping, so it's very difficult here in the Washington, D.C. area.
And I don't know if this is within your area of expertise, but what do you make of the phenomenon? When I was a kid, I could roll around in the grass. I could be outside for hours and never affected me. As I've gotten older, I become more sensitive to these things. Is this the kind of allergy that is sort of in remission when you're younger, or it just flares up later?
Yeah, the immune system is a mystery, and again, it's not really my area of expertise, but I know for myself, I had awful ragweed allergy when I was younger, and I actually got better as the years went on. But some folks do actually either get sensitized. I know they say if you come to Washington, you don't have an allergy.
You'll get one.
You might get one. So it's something that it's a very individual type of thing with the immune system and folks sensitizing themselves and then maybe over the years desensitizing.
I think that's true. I think in my case, I got better with some allergies, but then I picked up new ones.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's just a combination of factors that go into that.
All right. Well, listen, Susan Kosisky, we really appreciate you bringing this by. Again, she's the chief microbiologist at the U.S. Army Centralized Allergen Extract Laboratory. She knows her stuff. When it comes to pollen, she's the go-to gal in town.
It's a dubious distinction.
Well, you performed well. Thank you, Susan.
Thanks, Susan. Appreciate it.
Really enjoy